no subscription Meraki. Guys, this is Meraki Go, Cisco Meraki small to medium-sized business solution. And you can go out, you can buy a switch, you can buy wireless access points, you can buy their security gateway, and it's all cloud managed. So if there's a new vulnerability out there or you need to do an update, it's all taken care of for you. And again, there's no subscription to pay for when you use these devices. You can go out, you can actually buy these directly on Amazon, or you can buy these through channel partners as well. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check that out. You plug them in, and it's as easy as that to get these things set up, and that's why they're so great as a small to medium-sized business solution. And after playing around with these for about a month, I really think this might be the best SMB solution out there versus everybody else. And I think the big thing here is it's just super easy to manage. And again, it's all through the cloud, so everything is updated for you. So in today's video, that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you a hardware overview here real quick, and then we're going to go into the actual GUI, the cloud dashboard, poke around in that a little bit, show you how to set some things up, take a look at how to monitor and manage things. And hopefully by the end of the video, I've convinced you that this is the best small to medium-sized business solution out there. So if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. So let's go ahead, let's jump into a hardware overview, and then we'll get into the GUI. First up on the hardware side here, I have the Meraki Go GX, X standing for their security gateway. I'm not going to bore you guys with the exact model numbers because by the time you watch this, there will probably be a new version out or a different variation of this out there, but the GX is going to be their security lineup. This particular one that I have here is a 5-port version. It has the first port that's your internet uplink, so that's going to go to your cable modem or your DSL modem, whatever you have from an internet perspective, and then the rest of the ports on here, these 4 ports, are going to be like switch ports for you. So you can plug any RJ45 devices into here. The last one, port 5, is a PoE port. So if you're going to be getting a wireless access point, you can plug it directly into the GX for power. Or you can even plug a phone in here if you wanted to, off to your PSTN carrier that way. So you've got that. Next up is going to be the wireless access point. This is the GR from Meraki Go. And on this particular one, again, it's got nothing too crazy on the back here. One RJ45 port. It's really all you need. You plug it in. And again, you're going to get PoE power if you have a PoE powered switch that's going to power this thing. If not, you've got the little power adapter input here, which you can plug it in to power it that way. And then last up on the hardware is going to be the GS, S standing for switch. And you could buy, again, today, different variations of this, 24 port. I've got a little 8-port one right here. 8 ports across the front of RJ45 for all your copper connections, and then 2 ports on the side here for SFPs. So if I do have to go back to a central closet somewhere and it's really far and I need to use fiber, I can because I have the SFP ports on the side over here. This version of this has PoE on it, so I can power my access points, I can power my phones, I can power whatever I need to directly off of this switch. So that's it for the hardware. Let's go ahead, take a look at the dashboard. So let's talk about how to actually get these things set up once you buy them and once they arrive. So I just took this out of the box. It's actually an outdoor Meraki Go access point, and we're gonna get this added to our network. Now there's 2 ways to actually get into the user interface of this system, the management portal, whatever you wanna call it. And it's either through the Meraki Go app that you get on your phone, or you can browse over to web.meraki/go.com and you can log in this way. Both are going to look exactly the same. The only difference is the menu bar on the web application is going to be on the left side, and on the phone app is actually just going to be along the bottom. Besides that, everything is absolutely identical. Just you pick how you want to do it. So I logged in right here to the web app. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to hardware, add a device. We're going to hit the little plus symbol here, add hardware, paste in our serial number. We're just going to put outside for this one. And then we're going to hit next, and it's going to get added here. So we have this outdoor access point, finish setup, finish. And now this is going to be added to our network, and it's going to inherit the behavior that we have already set up here. So once you add it, just give it a minute, maybe 5 minutes the most. It needs to go and download the latest version of firmware, get updated and everything. And then once it's done, you can tell by the lights on the unit. If it's green, then it's usually good and talking to the Meraki cloud. But we can verify by going over to hardware, and then we can take a look. Here is the access point that I added, and I called it outside, and it's online. I can click on it if I want to, get some general information about the device. We're broadcasting a wireless SSID called Go. We'll go over that in a minute, show you how to set that up. And here's the IP address of that device that we added. So it's super, super easy to add devices right from the GUI or right from your phone. So let's start at the beginning, show you guys what the actual GUI looks like, how to go in, manage everything, show you guys the features of this. So we're going to start out on the home screen right here, the home tab. And the first thing at the top is where you can actually select your organization or somebody else's organization that you're helping to manage. So if I click on this, you can see I've got my network here, Sandwich, but I also help out one of my high school buddies who started up a small mom-and-pop cleaning supply store. And he needed something just to get him going. He needed one switch and 2 access points. So he bought some Meraki Go stuff from Amazon. I helped him set it up. Actually, he set it up himself because it was so easy. And then he gave me administration access inside of here. So if something was going on, I can go in and I can take a look and I can help him out remotely. And this actually came in handy because in a minute I'm going to show you guys a cable tester on here. He's not really an IT guy, but he tried to go in and crimp his own cables, and he was having an issue in one location. So we went in, we ran the cable test, we came back with a bunch of CRC errors, and I said, hey Dave, you might want to try to recrimp that cable. Looks like that's causing the issue. He did that and everything was fine. So really cool that you can go in and you can actually do that stuff. So back to the home page here, I just canceled out of that. We're going to stay on my network. A couple things you can do here. So number one, I set the time interval that I want to look at. So right now I want to look at the past week on here. I can take a look at any of the devices over the last week. So I've had 3 unique devices on here. If I've got a little blue dot next to it or it's lit up, that means that this device is currently on the network. So I can take a look at my device right from here. I can drill down even further. It'll give me some device statistics right here. So you can see it's an Apple device, the MAC address, the IP address, all this stuff, what band I'm using, how my signal strength is. Really good when you're trying to diagnose issues. Hey, I'm having problems getting to Microsoft Teams or WebEx or whatever. Everything looks slow. Well, you're right on the edge of the network. Your signal strength really isn't that good. You can take a look at that in here. You can trend this over time. Again, we're looking over the last week here. You can see how much data bandwidth I've been consuming. You can take a look at the different applications that I've been using. So WebEx, Office 365, YouTube. You could take a look at all this per user, and we could also take a look at this at more of a global setting. So if we go back to the main page here, just because we drilled down before, here's some more of those global settings here. So here's a look at the network as a holistic vision here. How much bandwidth are we using throughout the day, throughout the week? Scroll down here, I've got my applications. Again, I can dive into this to really break that apart if I want to see. And then there's actually some visitor insights here that's on the front page. So if this is going in more of a retail type of environment, you can actually see how many people entered your store based on who had a cell phone on them, which these days pretty much everybody has a cell phone, and those cell phones are constantly pinging out there, seeing what Wi-Fi networks are available. We can pick up on that information, and we can say, okay, you've had 35 unique visitors the past week. I can dive into that a little bit more if I wanted to. Here we go. So now I can take a look at how many people were there, how many people were passing by, how many people actually connected to my Wi-Fi that's there. All this information is really good to see who's coming into my building and how long are people actually staying into my location. Back to the home screen here. And the last thing at the bottom here, like every Meraki product, and I've actually used this, is the Make-A-Wish. So if you want to see something, hit the Make-A-Wish button, and the people at Meraki will get that. They'll take a look at it, and if enough people make that wish or they think it's a really good idea, they'll actually implement your ideas right into the software. So it's really cool and really easy to do that right here. There's also contact support. Now with Meraki Go, you can hit that contact support button and you can start doing a instant message or an email message back and forth with the Meraki support people. So that's all in here. And then the last thing at the bottom is what's new. So what's new over the last month or whatever, this is showing here, and you can actually go in and you can take a look at all the new stuff that was added. So next up, just going along lines here, is networks. We're going to click on that, and this is where you actually see and do a lot of the setup as far as what networks you have going on your network. So I have a wireless network and I have a wired network set up here. So if we want to take a look at the wireless, for example, I would go here. If I didn't have one set up, if I just plug devices in, I'd have to create my first wireless network by hitting the plus sign here. I already have one established, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what this looks like. Once you're in here, this is where you'll go ahead and you'll say, okay, I want an SSID. I'm going to name it Go. What pre-shared key do you want? All that information is here. You can actually hit the show button and it'll show you what your pre-shared key is. Devices that are attached to it right now or that have been attached to it the past week, you can take a look. Here's my device. We can click on it. It'll take us back to that page we showed before, and then any other devices that were associated to this access point or this wireless network over the last week here. Take a look here too. I've got 2 access points broadcasting out this Go network. I've got the original one, and then I've got the outdoor access point that we just added that's being broadcasted here too. I could click that, and it would show me that. Again, we could take a look at some statistics as far as who's been on this wireless network and what bandwidth they're using. And then I've got my visitor statistics here as well, which we also saw on the homepage. So next up, after networks, we're going to go take a look at health. And this is actually really nice. This is newer to the product. I started looking at this about 6 months ago, and this wasn't there. And then I started looking at it again, like I said, about a month ago, and all of a sudden this was there. So this is really nice because I can take a look at, number one, what has the uptime of my network been over the last 2 weeks. Now, I took it down myself right here, so that's why it's showing that little bit of a red area there. But it'll tell you, what's my uptime, 99%, 97%, 100%. All that data is right there that you guys can track. Then underneath that, what's the latency in my network? So if we're trying to go out and we're trying to get on a WebEx call and I'm using voice over IP audio, what is that latency like, or what is the video like that we're seeing from a network standpoint? That could help you establish, hey, the issue is, looks like it's something going on with our internet service provider or something's going on in the network versus, hey, it's probably just your computer. Everything on the network looks great. Underneath that, this was really nice tier too. So failed network connections. So I can't get on the Wi-Fi. Well, what happened that you couldn't get on the Wi-Fi? So I went in here and I just wanted to test this. So I put in the wrong pre-shared key. So you can see here that I have got one device that failed the network connection. I click on it. Reason, authentication, radius. Okay. And then you've got right here, it says authentication failed. No surprise because I entered the wrong pre-shared key. So it's really cool that you can go in here now and you can actually figure out some of the reasons as far as why people maybe couldn't get onto your network. And then underneath that is just, association status, and just gives you different reasons why devices would maybe fail and what percentage of devices are failing coming on the network for those reasons. So, can't access DNS or didn't receive an IP address. Right now I didn't have any issues with those. That's why they're all showing 100%. But I did have an issue a couple days ago with the wrong pre-shared key. So that's why it's showing 96%. Now let's head over to hardware here. You guys kind of saw a preview of this before when we added a device. Boom, hit the top plus there and you could add whatever you want. So this is my entire network. I've got a security device here. I've got a switch, and I have 2 wireless access points. The one that we called outside and the one that we called, that I called before. I called it Go Wireless Go. So if I want to take a look at any of these from a hardware perspective, I can go ahead and click on one. We'll click on the switch, and you got some basic information, MAC address, IP address of the device. We can go into settings here in a second. And I also have the ports that are on this device. And if I zoom in, we can actually see that 2 ports are lit up with PoE. That's what that little lightning bolt represents there. And that's because I've got my 2 access points plugged into my 8-port switch here. If I want more detail on those 3 ports that are active, I can go ahead and I can click on active port. And really nice feature here is that I can see what's plugged into these ports. So port 6 is that access point that I called when we added before outside. Then port 7 has another access point that I added before. I called it Go Wireless Go. And then the last port showing up here is my internet connection out. And that's plugged in there. That's actually going to my Meraki Go security device right from here. Now I can click on any one of these. So let's say, hey, it's a pretty far run to that outside access point that we have. So I want to go ahead and I want to click on that. And maybe for some reason we're having intermittent issues with it. So I can go ahead and I can say, okay, let's test that cable. And I can click test here. And this will sense if the cable is good or the cable is bad. And this is the same thing that I used to help me figure out at my buddy's place that we had a bad cable that we were working with there. So back to this page here, we could take a look at the live view, how much traffic is currently passing through this port onto this device here, how much power it's consuming. So super low power right now, probably because no one's on this access point. And then some other basic port information, okay? The speed of it, is it a trunk port, native VLAN, all that common networking stuff that you'd want to know is all right there. So if I can go back here to the main page, a couple other things here. I can test the connection. So I can click that. I can test to merakigo.com. I can test to a specific web page if I just want to make sure that it's working from a point in my network to this location. I can test that. You can also blink the LEDs. Now this is a feature that Meraki has had forever. Really great feature, especially if there's like an issue going on or maybe you need to replace a device for some reason. Hey, let's identify what that device is. Again, I may not be remote. I may be that service provider, that managed service provider that's managing this stuff remotely, but someone has to go on site to actually physically do things every once in a while. I can help them identify what needs to get swapped out. Hey, we're going to upgrade to a newer box that Meraki Go released. Okay, take this box out. It's blinking right now. You got that right there. Reboot, if you ever had a reboot for whatever reason, that was on there as well. And then some basic information about the switch, model number, serial number, IP address, and firmware here at the bottom. Back up to the top here, I can click on settings. And I can do a couple things from here. So if I want to provide a photo of where this device is mounted, I can go ahead and I can do that here as well, which, that could be really, again, handy when I'm not on site again and I need to remember which device was it. Is that the one that we mounted in the back corner of the store, or is this the one that we mounted in the supply room? You can actually put a picture of where it's mounted there. You can add an address too, 123 Main Street. You can put right there if you wanted to. And let's go into the security appliance just to check this one out. And, first look, it looks a lot like the switch. We're going to get port information here, live usage, troubleshooting tools, product information, all the same basic stuff. Where this one's a little bit different is there actually is an advanced security license that you can purchase for this. I think it's a year term. You might be able to buy more longer if you want initially, or just renew it. And this is a advanced security license, but it's powered by Cisco Umbrella. So it's actually really powerful under the covers here. What we're doing, this is taking information and comparing it to what we have going on in the cloud here with Umbrella. And what we can do in here, if I go under settings, security protection, we can take a look at what you get included if you purchase that license. So you're going to get malware, you're going to get phishing, some content filtering, and command and control callback protection here as well. So the one thing I do want to point out with this though is probably around the content filtering. It is a little bit restricted as far as what you can and cannot let through. So this is kind of the broad category of stuff that initially Meraki and Umbrella are just going to block here. You can't get really that granular with this stuff, so I can't say I want to enable this, but I don't want to enable that. It's kind of set for what it is. You do have some control. You can say, I want good, better, best, or less secure, more secure by going under your security policy right here. and then you can kind of set it. So I want security filtering only, or I want security and basic appropriate use filtering, or hey, give me it all. I want security and moderate appropriate use filtering. And that's really it. So you're not gonna really be able to fine tune this, unfortunately. I have put a product request in to get a little more detail on this. You know, we'll see where that goes in the future here. But it's still really cool that this is powered by Cisco Umbrella. Again, nothing you have to do. You don't have to go out. You don't have to download signatures. Make sure the box stays up to date. Umbrella is powering this. So anything that Cisco changes in the Umbrella cloud is automatically going to get protected onto this box, because that's what's powering the security here. All right, and last but not least is settings. And settings is kind of a weird one on this, because a lot of these settings are actually in the different portions that we already went over. But it's nice that, hey, if I want to make a configuration change, I can go to one spot instead of hunting and say, oh, is that under hardware or is that under networks or whatever. You can go to settings here, and all your settings are pretty much laid out over here. So, you know, some of the features, again, we took a look at this on the homepage. What's new? There was a link to that. Meraki documentation. Everything that you want to do with this product is laid out on this page right here. So really good before you really get into things to go check on what on that page and take a look at, you know, how to do things that you want to set up. Security measures, we looked at this under the security appliance, but this is where I would go in and set my security policies there. And then I've got stuff for the Wi-Fi network. I can go in and set that. Or guest insights. Again, guest insights we saw on the homepage when we looked at that. Blocked clients. If I went in and blocked a client, I could see that information right there. Web blocking. So this is not, I don't need that advanced security application to do web blocking. I can simply come in here and I can say, hey, you know, what network do I want to block this on? Is this only on Go? And then, you know, what do I actually want to block? So I want to block YouTube everywhere. Again, it's not content filtering like the security thing that we just showed. This is, you have to type in the website by website what you actually want to block. But that's there if you want to get into that. Usage limits. This is really important as well, especially if you're going to have guest SSIDs. You don't want them sucking up all the bandwidth and everything. You may want to limit that. So you can say, you know, I can go in here and I can say for all devices network wide, or I could say by an application category. And if I do application category, I could say, you know, gaming, and I can set how much gaming should be taking place on my network. Less than 500 kilobits, a meg, you know, whatever I want. I can set those limitations right here. Let's get out of that. And then some really basic information about your account. This is stuff that you can only find in the settings tab right here. So setting up your account, admins, this is where, hey, you know, I want to set up so somebody else can share admin access for me. I would set that up right there. And then the last stuff at the bottom here, I've got contact support, make a wish. You could change your color theme if you wanted to. And then some advanced settings here at the bottom where you can configure things like NAT, port forwarding. So, okay, I've got an FTP server on my network. I need to make sure that we're port forwarding correctly. You know, all that stuff is right here. Local network addressing is all here at the bottom too. And there you have it. So that is Meraki Go in an instance. Again, really good small, medium-sized business solution, especially if you're not going to have a dedicated IT staff. Even on premise, you can have your administrator monitor this stuff and do whatever you need to remotely. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you like this type of stuff, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. If you have any questions, hit me up down below. I still have my WebEx chat room open as well. So if you guys have any questions and want to talk to me in real time, I'll have the link in there for that as well. Go in there and you can find me live. With that, hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.